This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. For this is the day that the Lord has made. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
A reading from the book of Genesis. The Lord appeared to Abraham by the terebinth of Mamre, as he sat in the entrance of his tent while the day was growing hot. Looking up, Abraham saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to greet them. And bowing to the ground, he said, "Sir, if I may ask you this favor, please do not go on past your servant. Let some water be brought, that you may bathe your feet, and then rest yourselves under the tree. Now that you have come this close to your servant, let me bring you a little food, that you may refresh yourselves, and afterward you may go on your way." The man replied, "Very well, do as you have said." Abraham hastened into the tent and told Sarah, "Quick, 3 measures of fine flour, knead it and make rolls." He ran to the herd, picked out a tender, choice steer, and gave it to a servant who quickly prepared it. Then Abraham got some curds and milk, as well as the steer that had been prepared, and set these before the 3 men. And he waited on them under the tree while they ate. They asked Abraham, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" He replied, "There in the tent." One of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah will then have a son." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Responsorial Psalm. He who does justice will live in the presence of the Lord.
He who does justice will live in the presence of the Lord.
One who walks blamelessly and does justice, who thinks the truth in his heart, and slanders not with his tongue. He who does justice will live in the presence of the Lord. Who harms not his fellow man, nor takes up a reproach against his neighbor, by whom the reprobate is despised, while he honors those who fear the Lord. He who does justice will live in the presence of the Lord. Who lends not his money at usury, and upsets no pride against the innocent. One who does these things shall never be disturbed. He who does justice will live in the presence of the Lord.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Galatians. Brothers and sisters, now I rejoice in my suffering for your sake, and in my flesh I am filling up what is lacking in the affections of Christ, on my behalf of his body, which is the church, of which I am a minister, in accordance with God's revelation given to me, to bring to completion for you the word of God. The mysteries hidden from ages and generations past, but now it has been manifested to his holy ones to whom God chose to make known the riches of the glory of the ministry among the Gentiles. It is Christ in you, the hope for glory. It is he whom we proclaim, admonishing everyone and teaching everyone with all wisdom, that we may present everyone in Christ. The word of the Lord. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Blessed are they who keep the word with a generous heart and yield a harvest through perseverance. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus entered a village where a woman whose name was Martha welcomed him. She had a sister named Mary who sat beside the Lord at his feet, listening to him speak. Martha, burdened with much serving, came to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me by myself to do the serving? Tell her to help me." The Lord said to her in reply, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and worried about many things. There is need of one thing only. Mary has chosen the better part, and it will not be taken from her." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. Good morning. It struck me when it comes to good things, we have our own way to differentiate. We speak about things being good, better, and best. For example, when we take a friend to a favorite restaurant for the first time, it's not uncommon to take the menu and point out the dish that is good, the one that's better, and the one that's best. When I was up in Seattle, 4 of us loved going to a downtown restaurant called the Icon Cafe. And they had the most outrageous hot fudge sundae. In fact, we refer to it as the best ever. And one hot fudge sundae amply fed all 4 of us. And we never went to the Icon Cafe without gorging ourselves with the best ever hot fudge sundae. When it comes to friendships, we speak about having good friends, and we speak about having best friends. I think of a priest who was being transferred to another parish. He had finished his last homily, and the parishioners were coming by to wish him well. And one lady came up and she said to him, "Father, I'm going to miss you." And he thanked her and said, "Well, they'll send someone better." She looked at him and said, "That's what they told us last time." Now trust me, that was not me. You know, today we hear about choices, not between good and bad, but between good, better, and best. The gospel presents us with 2 sisters who seem to be in tension with one another. But what's unusual about today's gospel is these 2 sisters invite Jesus into their home. Interestingly, Luke makes no mention of their brother Lazarus. And this would be highly unusual in Jesus' day, because women did not invite a man into their house unless there was a male chaperone present. In addition, we're told Martha's busy serving and Mary is sitting at Jesus' feet listening. This too would be highly unusual, even rude, because rabbis in Jesus' day did not teach women. The woman's place was in the home, and they did not receive education and instruction. We're told Mary just sat and listened to Jesus. Again, highly unusual. Martha finally has had enough, and she approaches Jesus with a demand. And she instructs him, tell my sister to get off her behind and get up and help me with the serving. Now imagine her surprise when Jesus says to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and concerned about many things. Mary has chosen the better part, and it will not be taken from her. Now, in reality, those two sisters actually model two important parts of the faith journey. The great Saint Teresa of Avila, reflecting on this gospel, once wrote these words: to host Jesus perfectly, Martha and Mary must be joined as one. Mary, without Martha, would not do. If all Mary does is sit and listen, her faith will quickly become lopsided. It will be about receiving and not giving. Jesus understood so well that giving, doing, listening, and praying are all necessary. That's why in the Gospels, Jesus time and time again, we're told, would go off to a deserted place where he could be by himself to listen and to pray. But his prayer and his listening always led him back to embrace ministry. It always led him back to the sick, the hungry, the unclean, those who are laden with guilt. His prayer and quiet always led him to roll up his sleeve, to get involved, and to stay involved. In today's gospel, Martha gets so involved in her activities that unbeknownst to herself, she becomes the center of her universe, rather than the guest she is hosting, namely Jesus. And because unknown to her, she has shifted her focus to herself, she finally has a meltdown moment. I call it a poor me moment. And all of us have had them on life's journey, I'm sure. And when we have a poor me moment, we tend to lose our peace, and we tend to journey toward anger and resentment. In today's gospel, Jesus presents us with two sisters. They're actually meant to journey in tandem with one another. They represent doing, listening, and praying. I think Jesus, in complimenting Mary, did not mean to belittle Martha. I think Jesus innately understood for most of us, our greatest challenge is going to be to slow down rather than speed up. To slow down rather than speed up. Our discipleship journey is of doing, listening, and praying. It's not either or, but rather both and. That's why Saint Teresa of Avila said wisely, in order to host Jesus perfectly, Martha and Mary must be joined as one.